Climate change is a global issue that has far-reaching impacts on the health and well-being of people and ecosystems around the world, and you are the main cause. With burning of fossil fuels and deforestation to construction and waste overload, these things that have been done over centuries has released greenhouse gases into the atmosphere and trapped heat, causing the planet's temperature to increase. Hi, my name is Hudson, and today I'll be discussing climate change and the devastating effect that it's having on our planet. The consequences of your actions now will heavily impact your own children and grandchildren. Rising sea levels, more frequent and intense weather events, and shifts in ecosystems and agriculture threaten their food security and biodiversity. Every single one of those things listed will affect your children and future generations, but you still seem to be taking very little action, as both temperatures and sea levels are drastically rising still. Why is that? Take this statistic from NASA, for example. The concentration of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere reached a record high of 417 parts per million in May 2021. This is the highest it's been in at least 3 million years. The devastating effects of climate change will not only be felt by us, but also by future generations. If we fail to take action now, we will be leaving behind a planet that is significantly less habitable than the one we inherited. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and food and water shortages will become increasingly common, and the health and well-being of billions of people will be at risk. Children and young people are already feeling the impacts of climate change, and will continue to do so as they grow older. They will inherit a world that is less stable, less predictable, and more dangerous than the one we knew. It is our moral obligation to act now and ensure that the future generations have the opportunity to thrive in a world that is healthy, safe, and sustainable. We cannot afford to be complacent or rely on future generations to solve this problem. The time for action is now. We owe it to our children and grandchildren to take decisive action to address the causes and effects of climate change and create a better world for all. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, global temperatures have increased by approximately 1.1 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times and are projected to increase by a further 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. These rising temperatures are leading to increasingly severe weather events such as droughts, floods, and cyclones, as well as the melting of glaciers and the polar ice caps. Sea levels have already risen by an average of 15 centimeters over the past century, and are projected to rise by a further 26 to 82 centimeters by the year 2100, threatening coastal communities and infrastructure. The effects of climate change are not limited to the environment, but also have significant impacts on human health and well-being, including increases in infectious diseases, malnutrition, and mental health problems. It is clear that urgent action is required to address the causes and effects of climate change. This requires significant changes in our use of energy and resources, including reducing greenhouse gas emissions, transitioning to renewable energy sources, and promoting sustainable land use practices. We need to work together across sectors and borders to find solutions to this global problem and ensure a sustainable future for all. I have family who live in a coastal town that is being threatened by rising sea levels. Every time there is a major storm, their town floods, and the damage to homes and businesses is devastating. It is heartbreaking to see the impact that climate change is having on communities like theirs, and it is clear that urgent action is needed to address this problem. Construction companies have the ability to take action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote sustainable practices, which can help to mitigate the effects of climate change and protect communities like my family's. The construction industry is one of the major contributors to greenhouse gas emissions, and as such must be at the forefront of efforts to reduce them. Buildings account for 40% of global energy use and are responsible for 30% of global CO2 emissions. As such, the construction sector has a critical role to play in reducing its environmental impact and promoting sustainable development. To achieve this, we need to make significant changes to the way we design, construct, and operate buildings. We need to prioritize energy efficiency and the use of renewable energy sources. We need to reduce waste and use more sustainable materials in construction. And we need to rethink our approach to transportation and urban planning to reduce the environmental impact of our cities. But we cannot do this alone. That's why we need the support of government and industry leaders like you to create the policies and regulations necessary to make these changes happen. We need to invest in research and development to create new technologies and innovations that will help us build a more sustainable future. And we need to work together across sectors and borders to find solutions to this global problem. The time for action is now. The future of our planet and the well-being of our future generations, including your children, depend on the decisions we make today. Let us work together to create a more sustainable, equitable, and prosperous world for all.